We're playing some Reiju today against Perona here. This is another view into my locals experience here. This is Saturday morning locals, and we're taking Reiju for a spin here. Got the stage on my first turn. End up going first here against Perona. Perona typically likes to play on that even dawn curve. I also like playing on that even dawn curve, but we do have tools like Porsche allowing us to take better advantage of that 3 dawn curve or of that odd curve. Reiju, leader, basically disappeared for quite a while due to the dominance of Red Purple Law. Red Purple Law honestly shut this leader out of the game so easily. If you matched up into Red Purple Law in the last 2 sets, you basically just accepted defeat. But now Reiju's out. Reiju's ready to. She's free. She can now just like do effects, and honestly, the only hard part is the mirror matches here. But for the most part, she just kind of has some free reign to just be able to pull off as many non-minus effects as possible. We're going to go ahead and start off with the stage activation for our second turn here, going ahead and discarding a card. We're going to find that Ichiji here. Unfortunately, don't have a Porsche in hand, so we won't be able to play that out just yet. If we had the Porsche in hand, Porsche would have let us minus a Dawn, put a look the top 5, find a Foxy Pirates card, and then allow us to play out a 4,000 power or less purple card from our hand, allowing us to put the EGG into play. But we don't have that play this turn, but instead we do have the Reiju play. So we're going to go ahead and attack lead for 6k here. Going to get a 2k out of my opponent's hand, and then we're going to go ahead and play out that Reiju. Reiju, honestly, one of the best cards of the deck, allows you to draw so many cards here. We're going to go ahead and pull out that nice little alt art Reiju. We're going to have 2 triggers that are going to go on the metaphorical stack. Now, there is no stack in this game. When abilities happen, they happen at the same time. You do get to choose how you'd like to order those abilities. And since Reiju's character ability as well as my leader ability happened at the same time, I can stack it in a way to ensure that I get 3 cards on the rip. Typically, the way you do it is if you've got 5 or less cards in hand, it's recommended to ensure that you do Reiju's character ability first, because her condition is 5 or less cards to draw 2 cards, and then you can do your leader ability, which will naturally draw you 1 card regardless of your hand size, which allows you to draw 3 cards in 1 turn, which is pretty great here. Perona's just doing that search thing, going to draw a bunch of cards, going to start with a Momonosuke, and then just going to play the You Are My Samurai card, allowing the rest 2 characters and draw 2 cards. Perona is seeing a bunch of card advantage here, but can we potentially just rip that hand apart to the best of our ability? We do have that pudding in hand, though I don't see myself using the pudding this game, just because I would have to take a turn off from it. We're going to go and activate stage again. Having stage on 1 is just so good in this deck. We see 2 targets here. We've got another 7-drop Ichiji that we're going to pick up, and because we've got 2 4-drops in hand, that pickup from the Reiju ended up drawing me into Porsche and then another Ichiji here. So we're going to be able to go 6k lead likely, and then a 5k lead, and then a 7k lead, while also basically spreading out our board pretty wide. Porsche is honestly one of the best additions to this deck to let it just go crazy. We're going to send 5k at Momonosuke because I don't want them to keep repeating the search, and then we're going to tap 3, activate Porsche's ability, which is minus a Dawn. Look at the top 5 here. A little bit of a head cam here, jumping in for a second there, and Porsche is one of those cards that can find itself. So any Foxy Pirates card, and then we're going to add that Porsche to hand here. My hand is getting pretty wide here, and then we're going to put out that Vinsmoke Ichiji. Going to go ahead and draw 1 off of Reiju's ability from the -1 Dawn on Porsche, and then we're going to activate Ichiji to get the 7-drop Ichiji. I'm not going to let my opponent know that I've got another one in hand here, so I'm going to elect to play the one out from the yard, because I could use that one in hand to pitch off of stage activation here. So we're just going to have the 7,000 lead. We're completely ignoring that Otama. That Otama was an on-play ability. I don't care about that card at all. And if my opponent wants to attach 5 Dawn to try to contest my Reiju, I'm completely okay with that, because they basically wasted their entire turn. Opponent going to 6 Dawn here. My opponent did let it be heard that he does run. What's the card now? I think it's a 6-drop on play KO up to 2 rested characters. Oh man, the card is absolutely escaping me right now, but it's a East Blue card. But anyways, it's a pretty neat tech against these aggro decks like Dofi and stuff. But unfortunately, he did not see it on this specific turn, because that would have been a blowout. He would have been able to KO 2 of my bodies, and then he'd have a potential double striker here. We're going to go ahead and he's going to play out the Ryuma. Ryuma is going to KO my Porsche, and then yeah, you can see the more excited and in tune I get, the more my glasses potentially appear in cam here. All right here. So next turn we're going to be at 4 Dawn. We have another Porsche. We could do Porsche into Ichiji again here. Opponent's gonna go ahead and swing 5k. I don't know where the 5k is going. Likely at Reiju here. Right now I'm kind of debating if I want to give up the pudding at this point. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and let the pudding go. So we're gonna 1k, and then it's gonna go back to my turn here. Only at 4 Dawn. I'm likely just gonna play out the Porsche again to play out the Ichiji to just keep going crazy. So we're gonna go ahead and discard that Ichiji for the stage. Stage is gonna find me. Likely this could be a Yon or a Niji here, as I do have just kind of reading the effect on board here. We're gonna grab the Niji here. Now Ryuma is a on play and a on KO, so I potentially could get the double dip on the KO 4, and so I was looking at that Ryuma to decide if he was worth potentially taking care of this turn. I could also use Niji's ability to KO the Momonosuke, so I wouldn't waste a swing on the Momonosuke here, and that might be potentially what I'm doing here. I have 2 options. I could either play the Niji or I could go Porsche. It depends on how much Dawn I want to have next turn, because Porsche does require you, like the Porsche play does minus you 2 Dawn, so I'd be back to 4 Dawn again the next turn, basically resetting myself. But I think, you know, it does cause me to build quite the board, so we're just going to go ahead and minus 1 Dawn. Porsche effect is going to find me something cool here. It's going to be a nice little chopper. That chopper's a blocker. That's the best case scenario for that card. It also does ramp you 1 Dawn. And then we're going to do effect. We're just going to go crazy. We're going to go just really aggressive, hyper aggressive here. And we're going to draw 1 card off of the Porsche -1. And then we're going to do the Ichiji effect. We're just going to keep ourselves basically at 4 Dawn for a good amount of the game here. We're just going to go ahead and swing 7k. Opponent's down to 1 life here. I have 2 7ks, 2 5ks, and another and a leader, as well as like a absolutely full hand here. That judge is likely going to be discarded this next turn to my stage, as I don't find myself getting to that anytime soon here. But opponent's just digging very, very hard. Opponent's at 8 Dawn here, which means since he spent the 1 Dawn, he's not going to be able to find a Moria, though I don't think he had a lot of good targets in his yard at this point. Opponent's just going to play out a Momonosuke, going to go ahead and shortcut the tap here to look at the top 5, try to find something, and he ends up bottoming it. So that means there's no Land of Wano cards in that grip there. Very unfortunate for my opponent. And likely here, I'm like in a pretty good spot to just go ahead and just like swing board and protect my board. So he's gonna go ahead and send 5 into Reiju. I am just gonna be protect, as I have quite a lot of counter in hand. That's at least what two 2Ks, a bunch of 1Ks here. We're gonna go ahead and 2K out of it. And then opponent's going to play out a Sabo, going to potentially try to protect himself, but with only 1 life and 1 blocker, and I've got a bunch of attackers, and I think he's going to be ending up with 4 cards in hand at the end of this turn. I think I'm pretty well equipped to end the game this next turn, just with the amount of presence I have on board. Feeling pretty confident. I'm going to have 4 Dawn to work with, as I'm likely not going to play anything. If my opponent played out like a Borsalino or like a Rebecca there, I could be incentivized to play the Niji, but with only 1 blocker, and it's very likely I'm going to be able to just easily take game this turn. So it just depends on how we want to do it. I'm probably just going to do 7-7-7-7 and like 5-7-7-7, something like that. 5 to get the first card out of hand, and then just a bunch of 7s. Each 7's going to require at least 2 cards out of hand, and if you do the math, that completely checks out. We're going to go ahead and gonna grab another Niji here. Unfortunately, I don't have the pair, so I can't just like play out another rusher, but I think this turn we're pretty well equipped to finish the game here. So likely just going to save the Ichiji swings for last, but I think we're just going to go 7s across the board, starting potentially with a 5k here. Sometimes I do get a little controlling, but all right, we're going to go 6k here. I think we're probably going to go what, the 6-6-6-7. He just snap takes it, which tells me he potentially doesn't even have a 2k in hand. So we're just gonna go 6k again. Opponent does show me a 2k, and then yeah, so we're gonna go 6. So we decided to go 6-6-7-7-7, which is perfectly fine as well. We're gonna go 7 again. My opponent's gonna show me nothing, and so yeah, I preemptively went ahead and swung additional time, but he was showing me that he had no counter in hand, and those Momonosuke's were just whiffing hardcore. But that was an unfortunate game for Perona. Perona didn't really see what they needed to see. Perona, probably not the best deck in this format right now. But other than that, if you enjoy this type of content, want to see more Reiju or other decks, definitely subscribe and like the video. Thanks, everybody.